Today, we're gonna talk about my V8 Roadsters subframe and control arms right here in the corners. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, why do you have another set of control arms? You already have these in the car. Well, it's because I have another Miata outside. That's the white guy. So I bought a second set of control arms so I can have one in the white, and then I still have mine in the red. So if you're a stancy boy or a slammed guy and you want to adjust your fitment and stuff, this is it right here. You see this? This is the mounting point for each control arm, these giant Heim joints, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually lengthening the control arm, as you can see. So if these things are turned all the way in, the control arm sits closer to the subframe, so inside the car. So if you're looking at your wheel, it's actually going in more towards the body of the car. Now, if you screw these out right here, it essentially widens the track of your car without adding spacers. So say you buy new wheels and you're like, oh man, these things are weak. I should have gotten it, 5 millimeters more aggressive. So you're like, okay, it's fine. I got the V8 Roadsters control arms. I'm just gonna lengthen it. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm flush. But if you're like, stupid stancy boy, then you could just be like, I'm just gonna take it all the way out. Not kidding. You just take it all the way out. I mean, out as I mean like the maximum extended reach of the Heim joint. Now, obviously you need a minimum engagement for the thread so you don't break the Heim joint and the mounting point, but look at that. So all the way in versus all the way out is crazy, because look at that. What is that, like a 2-inch difference? Not sorry, it's like an 1.5 inch difference. So an 1.5 inch of track width per side is a freaking big difference. And if you buy weak wheels, and I mean not weak, I mean brand, like weak fitment, you can literally extend the control arms out so you have better fitment. At least that's what I did with this car, but the opposite. My hydron wheels back here, that guy, I ordered them too aggressive, and I already knew this. I was just like, I'm just gonna get as aggressive as I can because I can always turn this in. So my setup right now on this car is all the way in. Now, if I ever decide to just go like super wide body and just widen it even more than it's already been widened, I can extend it all the way out and poke the wheels out another 1.5 inches, which is crazy per side. So that's one benefit of getting the V8 Roadsters control arms. Obviously the strength, because now it's not stamped steel, it's a tubular pipe with all these laser cut fittings, and they're TIG welded together, and pretty awesome quality, made here in the USA in Florida. So if you want this adjustability, the weight reduction, and the added strength, you'll want to get these. And they come in different flavors. They have ones that you can't even adjust this side, it's just static. And they even have a billet version of this. Now, the billet version I wanted, but unfortunately they're out of stock. So I had to settle for this. And the upper control arms that go up here, I have them in billet, but they're on the car right now, so I can't really shoot it, unfortunately. Next thing we're gonna talk about is this subframe. Look at this guy. This thing's a beast. Not compared to the stock though. The stock is a beast. This is 7 pounds lighter than your OEM subframe. If you wanna lose that 7 pounds, you can get this. It's stronger than the factory, and look at this. This is the best part. It frees up so much space when you're working under the car. So check this out. If you're working around the oil pan right here, all right, the stock oil pan cannot be removed with the stock subframe in place. With this, it looks like I have enough room to actually drop the oil pan. Now, don't quote me on that. I haven't really tried it, but just seeing the way this is designed, the way everything is, there's so much more room to work, around the components of the cars. Like especially right here where the steering rack is. On the stock unit, it's a huge plate right here, and there's stuff everywhere, and you just can't get it. You can't just access things like the turbo and the the O2 sensors and stuff right here. It's easier to reach because there's not a lot of stuff in the way. So that's kind of like the main reason why I wanted this subframe, is because it's easier to work under the car, and it just frees up a lot of space. Now, obviously the weight difference is a big plus, but you know, that wasn't really the main reason that I got the subframe. It's mainly because of the ease of access, and it's also using the NB geometry. So some of you guys might not know the difference between NBs and NA subframes, but Mazda changed the pickup points just a little bit, and it's the NB subframe is it's a better product. It's a better design. Mazda obviously designed the NA, and then they revamped and added more structural rigidity to the NA8s, and then the NBs obviously got more of that R&D. And what Chandel at V8 Roadsters did, he literally designed this for the NA chassis, depending on NA6 or NA, I think they're the same, but he updated the pickup points to the NB. So that's kind of cool, because if you did it the old school way, people would buy the NB subframe, and they'd need to basically buy a new rack, because the NA, I don't think the NA rack works with the NB subframe. Don't quote me on that. Again, I'm not a master at this stuff. I think that's what I've read before. So, you know, with this, you just bolt this on and you put all your NA stuff, which is awesome, because that's what I'm gonna do. Now, is this gonna be an easy swap? I don't know, man. It's gonna be tricky for sure, because I'm gonna have to drop the wheels, as you can see back here. Everything's already situated and whatnot. So now I'm gonna take off the wheels, take off all the underbelly stuff that I have under the car, because if you're not aware, my car has a flat belly that I made, and that video is coming out real soon. But all that stuff gets in the way, and after that, I gotta put the jack stands on each side, and then I gotta pull all the bolts off and somehow find a way to support the engine so it doesn't just flop down. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use my lowrider jack. You see that on the other video, but I'm gonna use my lowrider jack to support the engine under the oil pan and the transmission. And then I might make a little engine crane holder thing up above. And then you just pull off all the bolts. You know, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. It sounds easy. It is easy. It's just there's a lot of stuff that you got to freaking support while you remove the subframe. Now, the control arms right here, they're extended on one, and the other one's all the way in, as you can see. The Heim joint right here, that's all the way in, that's all the way out. So this will actually extend to about 1 3/4 inches or so, 1.5 inches, and you can bring it all the way in. The setup right now in my car is basically this guy right here. So it's brought all the way in because my wheels are too aggressive. So as you can see, I purposely ordered these wheels to, you know, poke out a little bit. That's just my style. Now I could put wider tires on there if I do decide to do like a Rocket Bunny version 2 fenders. That's like, you know, way out here more. But for this setup, I had to bring the wheels in a little bit. Now you can't typically do that if you don't have adjustable control arms, but since I have the V8 Roadsters control arms, I just turned in the Heim joints and brought the whole thing in, basically. So say you ordered the wrong offset and you ordered a plus 35 instead of negative 35, and you flip those freaking positives and negatives. Now your wheels are sitting all the way in the fender, right? Because it's a positive offset, not negative. This is a negative offset right here. So to correct that issue, you could bring out the whole wheel using a spacer, right? You guys are familiar with spacers. So with this setup right here, you just extend the Heim joints right there, and you can bring the whole control arm out, which means it pushes the wheel out to the fender. Now, if you already have a crazy setup and you want to make it more stancy, then yeah, you can extend it a little bit more. Other than losing a few pounds, this thing is insanely strong. I love these freaking control arms. Now, the subframe, obviously I mentioned before, you lose about 7 pounds, and it's also way stronger, and you have more access to components in the car because everything's slimmer, tinier, it's tubular. It's not stamped steel like the factory. And then, you know, the motor mounts, that's negligible because you can just put whatever motor mounts you want. If you have V8 Roadsters, ADBRs, Innovative, Blackbird, or whatever, they all kind of function the same as long as you're getting a 70 durometer and the big barrel, like I said. But that's pretty much it. The subframe itself, it's a pretty tiny package. Like I said, the mounting points are updated to the NB. The steering rack right here is obviously built for your car, so you need to order like the proper one that you need to use for your car. So if you have an NA, order an NA. Don't use an NB. Don't use an NB subframe to put in your NA. It'll be different. So just order the NA subframe if you have an NA, and the pickup points, all these points right here, these points and whatnot, are all updated to the NB spec. So hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, just shoot me a DM or leave a comment, and I'll try my best to help out.